Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Striking Gold podcast, little nuggets to help you grow your business. Today, I'm going to talk about pivoting your business. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Lauren Goldstein, and I am the founder and CEO of Golden Key Partnership, where we help you make online and strategy simple. So today, I think this is one of the most important lessons an entrepreneur can learn. And that lesson is how to pivot and how to pivot successfully. Sooner or later, your business, once you've reached a profitability standpoint, and it's, I would like to say, a well-oiled machine, there comes a time when either you stagnate, you plateau, you get burned out, or perhaps the joy is lacking from your business. And these are the times when it is great to take a step back, pause a little bit, and really think about your business. Because as we know, if your business isn't growing, it means that it's going backwards. And probably it's going backwards for a couple of reasons. One, you have a bottleneck that you may not be able to get through for one reason or another, whether that's a financial bottleneck, a productivity bottleneck, a personnel bottleneck. But a lot of times, more times than not, with entrepreneurs, it comes down to you being the bottleneck. And the bottleneck that I want to talk about is when your business isn't giving you the joy or the excitement that it once did. Because when that happens, it's kind of hard to get up in the middle of all of that and say, I'm going to push through and it's going to be great and everything's going to come up rainbows, right? It's hard. It's hard when you're having a moment to close clients and be behind your business 100%, when you're kind of wallowing, or not wallowing, but what's the word I'm looking for? Wobbling, maybe. Wobbling in your commitment. So I want to talk to you about this because it has actually happened to me a couple of times. And it's not bad. I think a lot of times, sometimes people think of pivots as something bad, but in reality, you're just readjusting your course. And I think I like to equate it to autopilots and flying an airplane. So when you're flying an airplane and the pilot puts it on autopilot, it doesn't just make a beeline. And actually, what it does over the course of however many hours it's on autopilot is it makes tiny microscopic corrections every few seconds. And the reason for that is because if it didn't, it would be the difference between landing in London and landing in Paris or somewhere else. And I find so often that entrepreneurs don't make those little corrections. And there's actually a really great book called The Slight Edge, which goes into this principle much more deeply. But what you do today impacts your business tomorrow. And if you're doing things that impact it in a positive way, then your business will grow. If you're doing things that are impacting it in a negative way, it won't. And a lot of those negative things we don't even realize are negative. So whether that's, putting off a sales call or not hiring somebody that you need to support your business or not getting something done, they might seem like little changes that it's okay, I'm just going to put it off till tomorrow, but then it gets put off and put off and put off, and suddenly 90 days later, your revenue has tanked and you're like, well, what the heck happened? It didn't seem to be that big of a difference, but it was the difference in showing up 100% versus showing up 80%, 70%, 60%, 50%. So the reason I bring this up is pivots are essential to maintaining a healthy business. So sometimes a pivot could be cutting out a product, maybe a product that doesn't produce the profit that you want, or my personal favorite, cutting out a product or service that doesn't make you feel like you're doing your best work or you're giving your clients your best work or your best self, or it's not bringing you joy. So I'm going to peel back the curtain. You guys know that on my podcast, I like to peel back the curtain of entrepreneurship. Over the past 90 days, I have really been struggling with web design. I love the end result of building a website for somebody. I think it's so much fun to take a vision and make it into reality and make it something that makes sense, that works for them, that's intuitive, that works for the customers so that everybody can win. However, I do not enjoy the process. It's very stressful to try and pull out all the information I need. And some clients are great and they get everything I need all up front. And it's easy and wonderful and the process works because I know my process works. I know it's very solid, it's very methodical, it's science-based. It works. But then I have clients sometimes who buck the process, or they start out as a partner, but then they don't quite carry their weight, and then it drags on, or it gets frustrating or stressful for everyone. And so I've realized over the course of the past 90 days that it's just not something that truly brings me joy. I mean, the end result does, but the middle, which is the bulk of it, doesn't. It's really stressful. And, I spend a lot of hours not sleeping or staying up very late to get stuff done on a deadline. And, there's a lot. If you've never built a website, I encourage you to build one just to see what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of intricacy, there's a lot of moving pieces, and something that you think could take an hour could end up taking 10 just because there's a technical glitch, or the website isn't cooperating, or it just seems off, and so you have to rearrange stuff or change out photos and change out copy, and something that you would think could be very straightforward. Because of how I know the brain works and online marketing and the flow of websites and all of that, something that could start out very simple suddenly gets very complicated because of the underlying strategy that I believe every website should have. And so if you don't have that strategy, then things get exponentially more complicated, which is, I think, where the stress of it comes. So the people that I build great websites very efficiently, it's very fun, it's collaborative, those are the people that generally I've spent a lot of time with previously to make sure that their website strategy makes sense and they know exactly what it is. The people that I find to be the most stressful are the people that come to me and they think they have a strategy. And then it comes to find out that they don't really have a strategy. They have an idea. And an idea is very different than a strategy. Because, as I've talked about on my other podcasts, website flow and all of that, you want people to know what you do, but you want them to know what you want them to do. And so anyway, this brings me back to pivoting. Pivoting is something that I think is so important because it's really easy to, if you feel like your business isn't growing or you're frustrated with it, it's very easy to add stuff. And I'm a subtractor. I mean, that's one of the reasons people come to me and to Golden Key Partnership is because they're feeling overwhelmed. They have so many moving pieces, moving parts, whatever. And they're just like, nothing is working together. And I don't know how to fix it. And more often than not, the reason it is that way is because there's just too much stuff going on. So the first thing generally we do is we start cutting things out, whether that's email providers or products or things like that. We do a whole audit in our business tune-up and our strategy made simple. But when you're having those down moments in business, which happen in every business, it might be a little, it might be a big down, it doesn't matter, but it's very easy to say, I'm going to add a product, I'm going to add a service, instead of really taking a moment to look at what you're already offering, seeing if what you're offering is clear, if people can see the value, sell the destination, not the airplane. But then also really look and see if it's serving your business and your people. And if it's not, again, if it's not bringing you joy, if you don't feel like you're putting your best foot forward for your clients and yourself, or you're dreading these projects more than you're excited for them, then it's probably a really good sign that is a place that you should pivot your business. So having a vast product suite isn't bad, but I've seen much more success with my clients when you can cull out the herd, maybe combine things, or break big services into smaller bite-sized pieces so that you can really hone in and help people exactly where they are, because that sometimes is the hardest thing about business is somebody fits 75% of your project or your service or your product or whatever, but that 25% where they're not quite the perfect fit could be the downfall of the project. You want to make sure your expectations are set from the beginning, but you also want to make sure that the project or product or service is really a good fit for them. And if you don't know your product's value, or you can't articulate that or set that up in a good way, then that's dangerous. So pivoting, what that does is it allows you to get crystal clear on what your offerings are, how they help, who they help, and what that looks like. Now, some of you may have this down to a T, and I hope you do. But if you don't, and you're finding yourself frustrated or stagnant or just kind of dreading your business, then chances are there's a product or service hidden in your business that needs to go away. And the analogy is about building a house. Sometimes you just don't have room to expand your house, and you have to, or it just doesn't fit, or the foundation's bad, so you have to tear it all down and then use some of those bricks to rebuild. That's kind of the same thing. I'm not saying by any means tear down your business, but find the thing, the linchpin that is creating this abscess, if you will, in your business of pain, so that you can free your mind, your time, your team, your resources up to work with the products, services, and clients that are really best suited for you. So again, I hope this helps. Everybody has pivot points. For me, it was getting rid of web design. And once I did that, you know what? It's like shaking it off. It's like, I don't know if you guys ever feel lighter when you get your hair cut or something like that. It kind of feels like that. So again, if you're sitting here, like the summer is a great time to take time, look at your suite of products, look at your business profitability, look at what you offer, and really ask those tough questions of if that product and service is really bringing in the revenue that it could, or it should, or you want it to, or if it's giving the value that you want, or the wins. And again, sell the destination, not the airplane. And if it comes back that, maybe some things need just a slight tweak, or maybe they need to, be more expensive or be less expensive, or have more time or less time. The beautiful thing about business and websites is that they're living, breathing things. You can't just set it and forget it. That's not something you can do in business. You have to continually monitor the pulse of your business, because if you don't, you're going to wake up one day and it could very well have flatlined and you didn't even see it coming because you weren't checking in with it. So that's what these pivot points are. It's not a bad thing. It's just maintaining your course, making sure you're on course, and taking the time to really understand the intricacies of what you offer and how you can help. So with that, I will let you guys go. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, or whenever you're listening to this. As always, you can find us on Facebook, Golden Key Partnership, or hop on over to goldenkeypartnership.com and schedule a free consultation if you'd like to learn more about our strategy, services, and how we can help you make things simple so you can grow. Have a great day, everyone.